I've had a secret when it comes to the look that I give this room on camera. My secret has to do with lighting. Right now, you can see this shelf, you can see the Govee light, the RGB lights, all the decoration lights. You know where they come from, right? They're pretty obvious. Those are RGB light strips, or the Govee light is like a light bar, if you will. And then I'm using an Elgato key light bouncing off the wall to give me that soft light on my face. But the rest of the room has this bluish tint, and I want to show you something. I'm gonna turn off the one light that basically lights up my whole room. And there you go, all the color is pretty much gone. I know a lot of people who are trying to flood their room with light, wink wink, foreshadowing. And what you need is actually what I use. The cheapest way of doing this is using a floodlight. Now those lights are usually made for exterior uses. You can bounce it off a wall outside of your house to put some colors. You can use them around your pool or in your pool for some that are waterproof. But it's basically a very, very powerful light projector. And the fact that it's RGB allows you to basically set it to whatever color you want. So this is why I like calling those the instant gaming room, because you put this in a corner or somewhere off camera because it's so bright that it would be distracting if it was on camera, and boom, your room is going to be flooded with light. So even when I turn off all the decorative lights, the room still feels like it has this gaming or just like YouTube studio feel to it. And I've been using floodlights. Today, we're actually unboxing a pair of floodlights sent to me by Olafus. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And they are 50-watt RGB lights, IP66 when it comes to waterproofing. Now, as I said, they are meant to be used as exterior lighting. So they are water resistant to a certain extent, and they are super duper bright. So there's a little bit of caution when it comes to how to use them indoors and be safe with them. They do heat up, although this one is like medium size. It's basically not the smallest form factor for a 50-watt, and it's not the biggest either. So there's enough surface to disperse the heat, but it still gets pretty hot. So this is something that you need to be aware of. When it comes to the power, though, a 50-watt is actually pretty bright. If you are using this like I am for multimedia, for live streaming, or just videos, if you're using a webcam, this is sufficient. This is sufficient even for a big room like mine. If you have a smaller room, one will suffice, but this is a pair actually. Now, one thing that is interesting with this one is the actual LED spread. As you can see, there is a lot of space in between the 3 rows, and the LEDs are separate. So this definitely affects how the light is being shined through and the type of shadows that you might get. Once again, if you're using this for exterior purposes, it doesn't really matter. But since I'm using it to be on camera, I think it's important to know that this might give you weird shadows, if you will. If you want to have shadows on screen right now, there's none, because my one floodlight is actually up there on this tripod. This is a tripod, and there's no real shadows that are that visible. Maybe behind this shelf here, but usually that one stays on, so not an issue. Now, when it comes to the color, those are not fabricated to think about, you using them to be on camera. Those are meant to just have the effect that you have when you're looking at them, basically. Make your house like you're driving by and you see a house looking really good with a lot of colors, maybe for Christmas, maybe for Halloween. So the color index is really not high. The CRI is definitely not high, and they might flicker depending on your shutter speed. Usually the main colors such as red, green, blue will not flicker, or will flicker significantly less. Then it's really when you're trying to combine certain colors and you're lowering the power of certain colors that you start getting a lot of flickering. One thing that I noticed with this is that the red is definitely not as powerful as any other color, really, meaning that you kind of struggle to get very, very deep purple. Purple is my main color for my main channel. So I immediately went to purple, but it was like a light purple, very bright, because the white color on this one is super, super, super bright. So the remote control that comes with it gives you, light presets, but you can create your own by tapping on DIY. So if you are looking for that deep purple, you might have to play around it a little bit, maybe lower the blue, since the blue is more powerful than the red. It seems. Definitely bring green to 0 and all of that, but you can create your own colors if you're really, really specific about what type of color you want. So the remote is how you control it, how you turn it on and off, and you have a couple of effects. There's flashing, there's a fade in, the whole RGB thing that goes with usually like cheap light strips or other RGB floodlights. Nothing too special here. It is not Wi-Fi enabled, but what I usually do is I buy a Wi-Fi switch, plug it into it, and then keep it on so that I can control basically to turn it on and off with the Wi-Fi switch. I also keep it on one specific color. When it comes to quality, the front glass seems pretty solid. You actually can see the infrared receiver at the front right there, so you know where to point, but also it means that you can't go behind it or turn it on from the other room with the remote control. You really have to point towards the receiver. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the build quality. As I said, this is like medium size, so it dissipates the heat pretty well. Still, try to use that bracket that comes with it, so you can put it on a tripod maybe, or even mount it to a wall, or if you have a light rack for some reason, you can mount it there. That basically helps it hang away from anything, from touching anything, so nothing else gets damaged by the potential heat. But I've turned it on for a couple hours, touched it. It was hot, but not enough to cause any burns or anything like that, or definitely not enough to catch anything on fire. I mentioned the weird shadows. As you can see, 3 rows of light, you're gonna have 3 weird shadows. And actually, the closer you get to the target, like for example, the closer you get to the wall, the sharper the shadow will be, and the closer you get to the projector, the more diffuse the shadow will be, right? So when I'm using those in a setting where I want to take pictures and I want to have really soft shadows or better shadows, and shadows basically matter, what I will do is basically cut a piece of parchment paper and maybe double it in order to have more diffusion, and you can just put it right on there. It's parchment paper, it's not gonna catch on fire. That being said, don't leave it unattended and be smart with it. Another disadvantage that people usually get with RGB lights is the cords. The cord is usually pretty small. So if you're getting those, invest in an extension cord, or if you're like me, I will probably end up cutting this and replacing it with a longer cord. Although I believe this is about 1 meter, which is pretty decent at least. So yeah, that was the pair of RGB floodlights from Olafis, who actually sent them to me for this review. I'm not being paid. This is not a sponsored post. This is my actual opinion. And yeah, I'm already using 2 of them right now. There's one that is just dedicated to my hair and my side right here. I can show you. See, and then another one to flood the room. Turn that back on and turn it to red, and it would be like that. But on this one, but the other one that I'm using is different. Like the LEDs are completely different. They're smaller LEDs. So if you're a content creator or just a gamer who wants to, bring some life into the gaming room, you can buy some RGB floodlights. If you plan to have them on camera, for example, if you're using a webcam, I would go with something lower than 50 watt, 15, 20, 30 maybe. Make sure you place them off camera. If you're having harsh shadows, put some diffusion paper on it. If the specific color that you want mixed with the camera settings that you want don't match and the light seems to flicker a lot, you can invest in what they call gels. Basically, it's filters that you can put on the light and it will bring the color that you want. So you would set it to white, which is the brightest and probably doesn't flicker, and then you would put the gel, which would basically diffuse the light and give you the color that you want. Now you might be wondering, why not buy something like the Philips Hue light bulbs? This is 50 watt and my room is pretty big. I kind of need enough power to basically flood the room with light. The one that is actually blue in the background is a 60 watt one. A typical Philips Hue light bulb is basically $50 per light bulb, also is only 9 watt. One single Philips Hue is usually not enough to flood a whole room with light unless your exposure is really high. Your ISO is super high, meaning that your webcam will bring a lot of noise and the quality will not be as sharp as if you had brighter lights. I'll try to show some examples on screen right now. And there you go. Thank you, Olafis, for sending the lights. They are amazing. I will definitely be using them, especially for photo shoots. And yeah, no intro on this channel. Goodbye.